Hi, Empress Justice here, and baby, it is Valentine's month. Yes, we're about to get into the reading for February 2023. So let's do it. Okay, so for the month of February, we're expecting quite a big reward for January's hard work and ingenuity. And we're right, there are huge rewards coming for all of us, but in the month of February, they'll come out in small little pieces. So we can already see the whole cake, and yet Spirit is just offering us crumbs of that cake at this point. And with that, that might come a little bit of frustration. But the wonderful thing is that for the month of February, instead of letting that frustration overtake us, we're more likely to do something constructive and positive with it. So even in our drawbacks, we still manage to become still internally. We still manage to turn every situation to our advantage. And on top of that, the obstacles that we meet in February are nowhere near on the same level as January. So February isn't exactly a walk in the park, but if we're expecting the same austerity and the same drawbacks that January had, that ain't happening. Things are getting better financially for some of us as well. Things are getting better career-wise. Things are getting better. Even in our relationships, things are getting better. So we're out here leveling up. If there are any drawbacks to this month, it would be that we are slightly burnt out psychologically and physically from January because there was so much hard work with very little rewards. January was a real baptism of fire. So in February, we might have collectively like some mild confusion and memory loss. Um, it's not big enough to be a serious problem. It's just a real case of the dopies because we're burnt out to shit and we're really, really tired. So if there are any negatives to be taken from February, it might be that we might be subject to some mild confusion here and there, but it's nothing serious, and it certainly doesn't dampen our perspective of the blessings that we've got coming due to January's hard work. In January, we laid such a big foundation that we know what's coming, but again, we're being given little crumbs because we're not quite ready for blessings of that magnitude. So, February is a cautiously optimistic month full of hope, but it's a very passive month. There's going to be a lot of rest in February, there's not going to be so much grind, and we are going to be a bit more measured in our actions. But without further ado, let's get further into the details of February. Let's expand upon the annual reading of February and see what this month holds for us. Now, for this month of February, I'm going to be using the In Between Tarot by Janine Worthington. Shout out to her. I'm going to be using the Cats Rule the Earth Tarot by Catherine Davidson. And I'm going to be using, for the general reading anyway, the Sibyl's Oraculum by Tayana Lee McQuillar. Now, what can this tell us about February in a nutshell, going into more detail? Well, intuitively, what I'm getting from this is that small disappointments are being cast aside in favor of a bigger purpose. So there are things from our lives that we used as comfort, as emotional comfort. Even people that we used in our lives as emotional comfort, only for us to find that they don't hold the same weight anymore because collectively our psyches are going to be on a different level. It's not that there will be some people who are leveling up and other people who are not. We're all collectively leveling up. Do you understand? But that means different things to different people. So whilst you're leveling up in one way and they're leveling up in another, for some of us in our relationships, it may mean that we're drifting apart. This isn't just romantic relationships. It's also friendships. It's also familial. So what might happen is that the superficial will fall away in favor of something that is actually more aligned with our purpose. when it comes to love and when it comes to career and when it comes to even finances. There are certain superfluous things that are being moved out of the way in order for us to truly take off. Okay? But with this right here, usually this card right here guards against ego. But we're feeling ourselves in February. We know we basically killed it in January. We know we really crushed it. There are some of us that are feeling especially confident, and with very, very good reason, because we were tested and came through massively. So yes, we're going to be feeling confident. We're going to be feeling ourselves. But in this case, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see the confidence getting out of control. I don't see a lack of humility. Instead, I just see you've got your path, I've got mine, and I've got to go through my path with absolute determination. And if you're not coming with me, it's basically Aryan energy from January in a nutshell collectively for February. I know where I'm going with my life, and if you are going to come with me, there are certain things that I expect. And if you're not going to give it to me, I have to move on. And like I said before, this isn't just with love or with romantic love or even with just familial relationships or friendships. This is with anything to do with your life. If it's not assimilating anymore and it doesn't have the same emotional resonance, if it doesn't fit into you elevating your life, you will get rid. And this is the energy collectively that we're all on. And it's not a malicious energy. It's not an egotistical one. It is simply, I know what I have to do. There's one door, I got to walk through it. And either I have people in my life who support that, or I have people in my life who don't. And it's really as simple as that. There's no indecision. There's no second guessing ourselves at this time. So this is actually a really good month, filled with certainty in ourselves and self-belief, even though, again, we only get small crumbs of the big, huge blessings that we know is on the way. Like, we only get small glimpses of that. But it's enough for us to feel confident enough in ourselves to try at elevating ourselves. So collectively, we're leveling up out here collectively. So let me see what I can get from the notes. I've got remember to do things for love, not ego. And we've got fling end, or the end of a fling, unsatisfying relationships, finding yourself, self-insight, inspiration, best friends, preparing for takeoff, grief and sorrow. So yes, the sorrow and grief that we're feeling it's not actually grief and sorrow. It's realizing that you lost something that served its purpose, but now there's a different purpose to serve. That's all it is. We're stepping ourselves up a notch. That comes with new challenges, but it's challenges that at this point, a lot of us are more than ready for. Yeah, a lot of very determined, fiery energy right about now in February, boy. Listen, I've got to move on to the challenge because damn. Now, the challenge for February is actually not guaranteed here. This is less what will happen in the future, and this is a more advisory portion of the reading at this point. Usually challenges highlight exactly what we are about to do or how we might sabotage ourselves. But the truth of the matter is that all these cards are saying right here for the challenge for this month, all these cards are saying is keep doing what you're doing. Keep maintaining that healthy level of confidence that comes from spirit. Keep believing in yourself. Keep moving forward. Keep growing. Because essentially, you're going to be more tempted towards doing that, towards moving forward and growing and changing in the way that you need to, than you are to question yourself. You're going to be less tempted to question yourself. all the internal doubts that a lot of us would normally have, they're not quite present, especially with those who resonate with this reading. Now, for those who resonate with this reading, you are very strong, secure, and steady in yourself. You know who you are. Can't nobody tell you nothing. But you've got people around the outside who are less secure than you are, less in their power than you are in yours, and therefore they're trying to take that power away from you by trying to make you question yourself, or trying to manipulate your emotions, or trying to manipulate your way of thinking, playing mind games and stuff. But this is the truth of the matter. Those mind games won't work. And if they do work, they won't work in the same way that they used to, for the simple reason that the confidence that you have, or the power that you have, it does not come from external approval. There are people that I'm speaking to right now that have been through real hardship in their lives, been through some real shit. And because of that, you have grown to like yourself because of how much you survived and because of how much you thrived under pressure. Many of you genuinely like the people that are resonating with my reading right now. You genuinely like yourself. So there's nothing that anyone can say to dislodge that or move that. Your emotions are your own. They're not going to be rocked by some insecure douches playing mind games with you. Okay, so with that in mind, let me read the notes for the Hanged Man, the Hierophant, and Specular, which is the mirror. Okay, it says here, put a pin in traditional psychology, questioning your faith, unsure of what to believe, and there is the need for clarity on the impact of others. You already know. Okay, so all of these things are external. They don't apply to your own mindset. Let me continue. Behind the scenes work. Yes, there's behind the scenes work in February. Like I said before, you can see what's going on. Bringing salvation, political organization, put a pin in all those three. Many delays, little gets done, sacrificing too much. Release of the ego, delayed change, standstill. Schools, church, temple chains, and sex, as in religious sex. End of delays, end of troubles, missionaries, expansion of religion or tradition. So the outside world is getting more insecure all the time. The outside world is getting more insecure, more paranoid, more afraid of repercussions for certain actions. Whereas the people who resonate with this reading, you're becoming more and more steady, you're becoming more and more confident. So there are people who will try to question what you do, but at this point, you're just, collectively, those who resonate with my readings, you're just like, nah, I know what I believe. You're not, again, you can't play someone like me. There are people who resonate with this reading, they can't play you. You've already been through the wars and you already see everything coming. You cannot be played. So it kind of leaves outside forces stuck on what they should do next. Do you know what I mean? So with that in mind, I'm going to move forward to the root of February, or what's behind everything happening in February. Okay, so the root of February, if I can read this collectively, yes, we are strongly and powerfully going for what we want, but we are utilizing what's already around us in order for us to get what we want, or at least this is a snapshot of exactly what we've been doing in January. We've had the austerity, we've had the hard times, we've had the hard work for very little rewards, but it did not stop us. For the people who are resonating with this reading, it did not stop you from accomplishing what you wanted to accomplish. It didn't stop you from doing what you wanted to do. And I'm not saying it's plain sailing for the rest of this month, but what I am saying is that the emotional resilience is there. So whatever challenges happen in February, which are quite a bit lighter than they were in January, we're more likely to take it on board and just take it in our stride. We're more likely to take everything in our stride rather than allowing any of those challenges to rule us or get the better of us. So we are really coming into our power, and we're feeling our power, and we're determined, and we're unstoppable. That's the energy that we've carried over from January to now. And that's at the root of everything that was going on in the extension of February. Basically, we are coming into our power, and we are unstoppable, and we are utilizing everything around us for our own benefit, which is wonderful and it's great. And once again, it comes from a grounded place. It doesn't come from a place of arrogance. It doesn't come from a place of, I got it like that. It comes from a place of deep-seated inner peace. Deep-seated. Because remember, this is a number 7 universal year. A lot of people are feeling this right now, in spite of all the fuckery going on. So, yeah. So let me read the notes for these 3 cards right here. We've got dare to want what you want and pursue it, which is absolutely what many of us are doing right now. Having more than one home, believing your work is your home, practical choice, common sense, eloping, spiritual journey, becoming the breadwinner, lots of travel, success in politics and leadership, following your life purpose, caring and loving boss, real estate, wealthy benefactor. So, believing your work is your home and following your life purpose are basically part and parcel of the same thing. And us daring to want and pursue what we want, that is already there. We don't need to be told twice. So there is a deep spiritual purpose behind everything that we're doing right now. There is a deep spiritual purpose behind it. We're making a lot of moves, but those moves are purposeful, which means tactically they're quite sound. Like many of our tactics for moving forward in our lives are quite sound, and they're rooted in proper observation. They're not rooted in out of control ego. They're rooted in spirit. Once again, the strategic moves that we make are rooted in our confidence, in our ability to contribute to the universe, and in our ability to become co-creator with spirit. That's where all of this is coming from. And this is the energy that we bring in from January, because we feel to ourselves, after everything that we've endured in January, we can pretty much endure anything. Now, it's not strictly true, but in the case of this month, you ain't wrong, because February, the struggles are nowhere near as bad in February as they were in January. So yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay? So without further ado, I'm going to get into our power in this situation. Wait on the Lord. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. That was Psalm 27, chapter 14. My grandmother, may she rest in peace, used to recite this quote to me all the time. And I knew what she meant even then, but I wasn't a big believer in Christianity, and I'm still not. But that verse holds a lot of power for us this February. So like I said before, we will be waiting. We will be of good courage. As I said before, it's very unlikely that the impatience that we feel will cause us to engage in any self-sabotage. It's very unlikely because there is a level of inner stillness within many of us that wasn't there before. So as much as we may be frustrated and as much as we may want to rush ahead with things, the reality is that we most likely won't do that. Instead, what we're likely to do is whatever tension we feel within ourselves, like I said a million times during this reading, we are more likely to use it towards something constructive and positive. And we're more likely to prepare for the blessings that we've got coming, which leads me nicely onto the notes. Now, the notes say, be quiet and observe. Action should be preparatory, meaning we should prepare for what's coming rather than going out and chasing it. Psychic abilities. So put a pin in quietness and observation, preparatory action, and psychic abilities. Our intuition is going to be peak at the moment, and it's worth listening to, right? You've got working with students, mentoring, being offered higher responsibility, many career changes, restless in the job, intuitive leadership, and put a pin in strong psychic. So our psychic abilities, our intuition is going to be firing on all cylinders. This is the month to observe and wait. This is the month to actually just be still, come within and observe what's going on, doing more observation than action, more preparation than seeking. So this is actually going to be a very passive month. It's going to be a month where we ain't about to do too much, and that's actually a good thing. Okay? So our power in this situation is to utilize our intuition to its fullest advantage and to do the same thing with our bodies as well, utilizing both emotional and bodily sensation in order to ascertain whether a situation is advantageous or not. And then we've got the stillness here. There is a stillness about us. Again, it comes from spirit. It doesn't come from anywhere external. So it is very, very likely that we are more likely to observe and sit back and watch rather than do anything too deep, which is exactly the energy that we need to embody right now. There's a very distinct feeling of us not needing to be told to stay steady, not needing to be told to relax and wait and see what happens, because that's what we're going to be naturally inclined to do this month collectively, because our minds are opened up. So with that in mind, now I'm going to move on to the 12 signs. Hi Gemini, welcome to February 2023. This reading is from Mrigashira, Ardra, and Purnavasu. Intuitively, what I can read for you is following on from you rethinking your priorities in January. Now you're ready to take all those lessons that you've learned to the next step. So you may have added responsibilities, or you may seek to take more risks with your career or even your finances. But last month was you realizing that you needed to do more to provide for yourself and or your family. And this month, even though you're not exactly going gung-ho, because February is a very passive month for many people, you're certainly making the first steps. You're making them slowly, but you're making the first steps towards boosting your skills that you already have or learning new ones that will supplement the industry you're in. You learn more about your money. You learn more about everything to do with domestic skills as well. So it's a relatively busy time for you. I say relatively busy because it's still not as busy as it could be, which is no bad thing. It's just that February, again, is a very passive month. It's more about preparation than actually going out and seeking what we want. So you are making the first steps towards added responsibility in your life, Gemini. You're just doing it in a way that's slow and measured rather than just steaming in, like thinking that you know what you're doing. Okay. So that's what I can see for you intuitively. Now, when it comes to the notes, I've got artist, learning a new skill, put a pin in singer, speaker, and entrepreneur, the last stand, and business rivalry. So don't put a pin in the last stand and business rivalry. That's just normal shit. Luxurious skill, confident apprentice, finishing off unfinished projects, and better lifestyle. Once again, following on from January and rethinking your priorities, now you realize there are things in your life that you have to address. These are not emotional matters though. This is all to do with work and career and prosperity, all those concerns, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you're going to do more to elevate your station, it involves doing a certain amount of research. It involves, having a certain savvy when it comes to how to manage your money and everything. And then with your creative path, you are taking more risks. You are becoming more resourceful and more ingenious. But all of this is to do with work, career, and what you want for yourself. This is not a time of emotionality or feeling or of anything like that. You're going to be very grounded and very focused and very ambitious. I don't see you guys being harsh though, or strict or over the top sort of authoritarian. I just see you guys being very, very assertive and being like, okay, this is what needs to be done. And you being you, because you're Gemini, you will manage to get your point across in a way that doesn't annoy people. So people on top of that are actually more likely to help you. At the same time, if you can do something by yourself, then you will do it by yourself. You're not going to allow anybody to come in and sort of like help you with, help you when you know you can do it yourself. So I do see a relatively, not mellow, it's hard to describe. It's not a sort of relaxed month for you, but it's not a month where everything is hectic and up in the air either. You're quite busy, but it's not the type of busy that you can't handle. Let's put it this way, you're not going to end up burnt out by the time February is over, and thank God, okay? So that was for Gemini. That was for Mrigashira, Ardra, and Purnavasu. Bye-bye. Hi Virgo, welcome to February 2023. How you guys doing? This reading is for Uttara Palguni, Hasta, and Chitra. Now, intuitively, what I can get from these cards right here is that you're waiting for something. The Hanged Man is usually a period where you're waiting for something big to happen. And you're not wrong, because the blessings that are about to, that everyone is about to experience, it applies to you, maybe to you most of all, right? But what I can see is that you have all these wonderful new ideas. And usually this card is to do with indecision, because there are so many good choices to be made, but you've already made your decisions. You've made your decisions and you're raring to go, only to find that there's a little bit of a waiting period, or the waiting period could outweigh the enthusiasm that you have for your new ideas. So whilst it's a little bit of a slow month for the Virgos, it's not frustrating, because you know that whatever new ideas you have, if there's a delay, then what you will do is you will just use this time to refine the ideas that you have, so that by the time the waiting period is over, you're ready. So any delays or any setbacks for this month, you're not going to take it personally. You're just going to be like, okay, I have to wait a little bit. It's really frustrating, but I can work with this. And you absolutely do. By the time February ends, you are raring to go and you are so well prepared. But then again, no surprises there. You are Virgo. That's what you do. You prepare for things. All right. And given that we have the Hanged Man, sorry, I got to move this speaker out of the way. Given that we have the Hanged Man here, this is to do with this is to do with the Vishaka in Libra and Uttara Bhadrapada in Pisces. So this right here is telling me that you are focused on relationships and partnerships. Yet, you see, this is what you're waiting for. You're waiting for the right partnerships to come along, and you know they're coming. This is the thing. If they weren't coming, then there wouldn't be an element of frustration there. But you know the partnerships are on their way. You know they're coming. But rather than, again, you're not going to waste your time waiting for partnerships to show up. If you can do something, then you will do something on your own. In your mind, again, that's just preparation for what you've got coming up. And I think romantic partnerships as well. You may feel like you're waiting for romantic partners, or you're waiting for, if you're in a relationship already, you may feel like you're waiting for the partner that you're with to show up and show through. But if they don't, you're self-sufficient enough to do whatever it is that you need to do. It doesn't bother you that much. Okay? I hope this looks real crooked. My apologies, Virgo. Let me just fix this. So with that in mind, I'm going to read the notes for you, and we'll see what's going on here. We'll see what's going on with the Virgs right now. Okay? We've got being discovered, standing out, curiosity, the need to decide, burning the candle at both ends, going for it. Many delays, little gets done, sacrificing too much. Creating more of the same, repeating a winning formula, acting on inspiration, philosopher, defending your plans. Virgo, you know who you are, you know what you have, and you're utilizing it. End of story. End of story. There's nothing more to say. And like I said before, you're striking while the iron is hot. It's just that spirit is the one holding things back. And that's because spirit wants you to prepare for the added blessings that you've got coming, and they want you to prepare for the added responsibilities that come with those blessings. So in the meantime, you're heeding that because your mind is very open at the moment. Your mind is extremely open, so you're heeding that and you're utilizing this time to get yourself ready. So that's for February in a nutshell. That was for Virgos. Okay? Bye-bye. Hello Pisces, this is for Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada and Revati. How's it going, Pisces? I won't lie to you, Pisces. You feel like you're on really solid ground emotionally. Now, I know emotions are not meant to be solid. They're meant to be fluid and free-flowing and all that good stuff, okay? But it really feels like emotionally you are very, very settled right now. And it feels like what's happening in your life is that, you know, all your emotional needs are being taken care of. There's this feeling of your emotional needs being met. And far from making you complacent, it's actually lit a fire from inside you, and it's actually done wonders for your confidence. Now, this is regardless of whether you're single, in a relationship, or what, or married, or anything like that. This is regardless of what your relationship status is. Whatever it is, you're very happy at the moment. Things in your mind could not be better, and February is a great month to enjoy your spoils. Again, though, you're not going to be resting on your laurels. You are going to continue to quietly beaver away at whatever it is that's most important to you. January was when you stepped up and you told the world, this is what the fuck I'm about, okay? And now you're calming down in February, and you're enjoying the emotional rewards of the work that you've put in, not even just in January, but in previous months leading up to January of this year. So you're very happy at the moment. There's lots happening. I really feel like for those in relationships in particular, you may have a happier time than normal. You may feel like your partner really understands you, really is connecting with you in the way that you need most. And it's making you feel nourished from the inside. And when a Piscean truly feels nourished, the self-destructive impulses that would normally be there are not there, because Pisces feels like they're being appreciated, like they're being cared for. Okay, so for the notes for Pisces, I've got the collapse of safety structure and rules, beautiful soul family. You see, I'm getting vibes of that. Winning, fame and fortune, going somewhere new, overseas travel, new order, new place, new achievement, happy contemplating, Zen moment, and new obsession. It really feels like the way the world is going at the moment, there are so many big global changes happening. And for the Pisceans that this resonates with, it feels like the world is finally turning around to your favor without realizing it's doing it. That's what it feels like at the moment. It feels like, there are so many transitions of power happening at the moment, and it feels like it's benefiting you. Now, whether or not it is actually benefiting you it really depends on how hard you work, but it feels like the universe is conspiring in your favor at the moment, and you're making the most of it. You're basically, you're putting your head down, you're getting to work, you're not allowing anything to derail you or detract you from what's important. And when it comes to your relationships, be aware that the nourishment and the taking care of people is not one-sided, because it might be that you're the one receiving all the love and all the attention and all the nourishment, and your partner might be lacking, or your friends might be lacking. Don't pay it forward, pay it back. Don't pay it forward, pay it back. If there are people who are lavishing their attention and affection on you, return the favor. Don't be out here being stingy with your love. Not with the people who are most here for you anyway. That's the only thing that I would say for February. Give back the love that you receive, but you receive a lot of love, or at least it feels like you do. So it's a beautiful month for Pisceans. It's a really wonderful month for you guys. But just, yeah, give back what you get when it comes to the positivity in your life. So that's it for my beautiful Pisceans. That was for Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, and Revati. Bye-bye. Hi Aries, this is for Ashvini, Bharani, and Kritika. How is it going, Aries? Now, what I can get for you is you have added responsibilities in your life that need taken care of, at the same time that old traumas come to the surface. There may be past people in your life that come back to you, and this is at a time when you're really vulnerable and you may not feel ready for it. You may not feel ready for the conversations that need to be had about certain aspects of your past and how you've dealt with it. I think what's most important, Aries, is to give other people the emotional space to express how they feel, because you know how you get when people don't allow you space. You kind of have to give other people the benefit of the doubt when it comes to their own emotions. At the same time, responsibilities are kind of not piling up, but there are increased responsibilities in the home, increased responsibilities at work, in your career, money. So you've got all these added responsibilities, and then on top of that, you've got to deal with past traumas, maybe even past life traumas. So whilst it's not a terrible month for you, it's certainly not an easy one. And I can relate, it's not nice when you go through all this shit. But you feel very vulnerable. You just feel very tender throughout this month. You're just feeling very tender. And the sad part is that Aries, you don't even feel like you want to lash out at anybody. It doesn't even feel that way. It just feels like you don't feel like you want to lash out. Conversely, you don't feel like you want to die. It just feels vulnerable. It just hurts all the time. And you want to deal with it the best way that you can. But you find it really, really difficult to kind of when it comes to logic and reason, you can rationalize things in your mind where you can accept the truth and you can accept what's going on. You can accept it cognitively, but emotionally is a different thing altogether, and psychologically is a different thing altogether. So you've got a lot going on, but like I said before, give other people the space to feel. You'll be surprised when you give other people the space to feel how much emotional freedom you feel like you have after you do that. Because once you allow people to be vulnerable with you, then you have the freedom to be vulnerable with them. You're able to have things out, maybe even have an argument. And then when all is said and done and when the dust is settled, there's forgiveness, there's resolution, there's turning a page. So I feel like your body is going through a transformation, and your mind as well. It feels like, the Knight of Coins is usually to do with the physical body, but I feel like it's more to do with your environment and your resources that are kind of taking on the weight of your added responsibilities, or that's probably what your added responsibilities revolve around. They revolve around your wealth and your surroundings and your possessions more than your body. And with the Three of Swords, it's not an easy month, but it's not a tragic, horrible month. It's not one of those months, thank God, Aries. But before I end this reading, I'm going to read from the notes, and then we're going to go from there. So for your notes, we've got successful career change with the lifestyle, many career changes, restlessness in the job, defeat in a relationship, here it is, violence, learning self-sufficiency, breakups, breakdowns, and or separation, working from home, intuitive change, heart and soul into career, and silent treatment. So beware of using the silent treatment to weaponize against other people. Let people speak. If you have the right, then they have the right. Let people talk. Okay? Especially if you want to resolve things. But luckily, I do see that at the end of February, you do resolve things. I do see that and feel that, but we'd have to see what happens when I do the reading for the new moon. Until then, my darling Arians, bye-bye. Hi Scorpio, this is for Vishaka, Anuradha and Jeshta. How are you doing, Scorps? So for you, the vibe that I get overall is you taking a lot more emotional responsibility. Now, it did start from January, because when I read for the new moon in Uttara Ashara for you guys, when I read that new moon forecast for you, it felt like you were really taking a lot of emotional responsibility and you were acting on your rationality rather than on your feelings. And because of that, it led you to make a lot of really, really good decisions. And it feels like for this month, we're carrying on from that. We've got the King of Cups and the Two of Swords, both of which denote a graceful objectivity and ability to see things from all sides, and having some emotional mastery or some control over your emotions, which means that once again, Scorpio, you're not afraid to be soft. You're not afraid to be vulnerable. You're not afraid to, let other people talk or let other people have the last word if necessary, because what's most important to you in your relationships and in your psychological life is that everybody feels comfortable and everybody feels loved. Love is basically the reason that you breathe anyway. And with this situation in February, or with, you're more inclined to listen than talk. And people really do appreciate that you are willing to do that. It takes a lot of maturity to kind of sit down and just acknowledge that, okay, maybe there are some things that I could change. Even when people get really, really angry, you don't take it personally, because you're like, oh, okay, all right, cool, I hear you. Because you're listening to what people are not saying. You're not just listening to what people are saying. So if people get angry with you, or they start having, or they start thinking to themselves, hey, this is so frustrating, instead of taking it personally, you're like, okay, so what do I need to pay attention to here? Your mind will immediately go to that, because there's a selflessness about the way that you do things this month. And I do see some career changes for you. I do see some events happening with your career, but they're not big. Okay. I know what you want most. You want to be in the spotlight. You want to be out there doing your thing. You will have that opportunity, but right now the career changes that you're experiencing are very minor and very small. So you need to just go along with it. Continue to take it slow, because before you know it, you're going to end up in a very, very favored position when it comes to your work. When it comes to your relationships, it's the same thing, but with your relationships, you're more inclined to be patient than you are with your career. That's because with your career, you work harder than a mofo. Okay, you're just like, no, I've worked too hard for this. I'm not about to sit here and wait. There's a small part of you that's like, I'm not about to sit here and wait for this. I've worked too hard for this. But you know that love is more complicated than that. You know that relationships are more complicated than that. So you're more inclined to show patience towards the people you love than you are towards your work, which is not normally how it happens at all with human beings. But here we are, Scorpio. You understand the heart is a complex thing and you make room for it rather than questioning too much. So for the notes that I've got for you, I've got strong psychic, quiet before... Hang on a minute. I've got strong psychic, quiet before the storm, inability to communicate feelings, strong success, long-term success, return to childhood, objective thoughts, mind reader, healing abilities. Put a pin in all of the following: diplomatic offer, peacekeeper, deep love, mind over matter, standing your ground. And then we've got actor, emotional strength, and mental. Yes, you are very emotionally strong right now, Scorpio. And yeah, you're in a diplomatic sort of mood for the entirety of this month. The surface details might play out differently from week to week, but at this moment, it feels like you're definitely just taking the high road. And rest assured that definitely pays off when it comes to your relationships. When it comes to your work, I'm not so sure, because it's one thing to be fair and honorable, and it's another to let people take the food out of your mouth. This is where you might have to stand your ground and use your objectivity to be a bit more stealthy, Scorpio. You're gonna have to let these bitches know that there's still a sting in the tail when it comes to your career anyway. Don't let people take the food out of your mouths. Okay, so that was for Scorpio. That was for Vishaka, Anuradha, and Jeshta. Bye-bye. Hi Sag, how you guys doing? This is for Mula, Parva Ashara, and Uttara Ashara. How are you guys doing, Sagittarius? Okay, so what can I get for this period? What can I get for February 2023 when it comes to the Sag as well? It feels like you're slowing down and you don't like it. It feels like a lot of things are kind of, they're not grinding to a halt. You know that. You know things are not grinding to a halt and you can sense it. But you feel like a lot of developments are slowing down when it comes to your career, your passions, the things that you're truly interested in. Um, you feel like you want to strike while the iron is hot, but it's like spirit won't give you the chance to do that. You're experiencing the same thing that Virgo is experiencing, but to a lesser degree. So in your case, it's more about stepping outside your comfort zone or breaking your routine, because there's a routine that you've kind of kept up. And in order for you to make the most out of what you do, you have to break away from that routine sometimes, put yourself in different scenarios or different situations in order to avoid the inertia setting in or the the dissatisfaction setting in. So it's really, really important that you kind of like explore your, expand your horizons, because you're fucking Sag anyway. That's what you're supposed to be doing. It's just that at the moment, your nose has been in a grind, like you've had your sword to the grindstone. You're on your grind heavy. And that's exactly what's causing these feelings to surface. Now, the Knight of Cups is usually, a card of the romancer, the Romeo, the one caught up in all the ecstatic moments. And then as soon as the ecstatic moments are over, they just leave. No, neither you or any of your loved ones are in that frequency. In fact, the love for what you do, the love for your craft, the love for your romantic partners, the love for your friends and family, all of that is powerfully strong. So if there is any dissatisfaction in love or, or anything like that, it's not due to the fact that the love isn't there. It's just that things feel kind of boring. Like it's just the same shit day in and day out. And in February, you feel like you're bored, but it's like you feel like you can't really do anything about it, but you can. Just get out a bit more. That's it. That's all you have to do in February. Just get out a bit more and just like wrap up warm. Fuck it. That's all you have to do. It's not, it's not like a big deal. It really isn't a big deal. And wonderful things do happen in love for the Sagittarius, by the way. And I'm so happy to say that. There are so many beautiful developments in love as well. Like, if you're single, you will meet someone wonderful. And if you're not single, well, if you're polyamorous anyway, I'm not going to say anything about committed relationships because no, we're not doing that. But if you're in a polyamorous relationship, you may meet someone new that gets on really, really well with both you and your current partner. And as for people in monogamous relationships, I feel like you guys really, you and your partner really love each other, but you are bored as hell. And, there's plenty of fidelity there. There's plenty of loyalty. You're not going to stray on each other. You're just bored though. That needs to be challenged. That needs to be sorted out. Okay, so let's read from the notes for you. So for the notes for Sagittarius, I've got cynicism, put a pin in cynicism, fear of rejection, emotionally numb, and intimacy issues like yes to all of those. That's an issue that needs to be dealt with. And then you've got communication, status quo, entertainer, stage, settling down, introspection, romance, beautiful performer, beautiful intuition, and self-absorption. So the status quo that I'm talking about is actually you becoming settled into a routine. I think I actually talked about this during this reading, but my memory is like a goldfish at the moment. You are settling down and you are being more committed to what you do. And a lot of people think it's not like Sagittarius to be committed to what they do, but it's actually very like you to find something that that is truthfully aligned with you and committing to it to its nth degree. That's kind of what you do. But, it's one thing to be steady and to be consistent, which you absolutely are. And it's another thing to not give yourself a chance. And yeah, when it comes to, you know, everything that's happening with the cynicism, the truth of the matter is that Sag, for a lot of you, things are really, really good, but you don't trust the hope, and it's a sad situation. You'll trust the hope when you expand your horizons a little bit, meet new people, do new things. So that was for Sages. That was for Mula, Parva Ashara, and Uttara Ashara. Bye bye. Hi Cancer, this is for Purnavasu, Pusha, and Ashlesha. Baby, the claws are out. So basically, you are up against some people who want to naysay what you do now. So January was a really lovely month where people wanted you to win and people wanted you to succeed. And now some of those same people are really fucking trying you. And it's not necessarily because they don't want you to succeed. It's just because they have more faith in their own vision than yours. So you are over here in your career or in your vocation. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly how to handle yourself. And you're surrounded by people who are condescending to you about how you need to do things. When you not only have more experience, you have more knowledge, you've done your research, you've done everything that you need to do. And this is just not career or vocation, by the way. This is anything to do with the psyche or anything to do with spirituality. You know what you're doing, and you've got people talking down to you as if they know what's up. You know what's up, and you are very capably and ably standing your ground. First of all, with this, you understand how strategy works, you understand how tactics work, and you play the game beautifully. And then with this, you're still maintaining moral integrity and you're still speaking the truth. It's just that the way in which you choose to do it is very smart and very advantageous to you. Now, the people who are naysaying you, they're not dishonest. They're not dishonest people. If they were dishonest people, this would have been swords. But they're not dishonest. They're just pompous. And in a nice way, in the nicest possible way, and to be honest, this has got to be done more through your actions than your words. You got to put these people in their place. Because at the end of the day, it's not like you're supposed to go out of your way to assume power or seek command. That's not what this is. It's about you maintaining healthy boundaries and saying, this is the time when I do something. This is the way that I do it. If I need your help, I will ask for it. In the meantime, shut the fuck up. In a nice way. Okay? In the meantime, stop talking. I know what I'm doing, and you need to stop patronizing me. It's very, very simple. Try to be as nice as possible because, you're not trying to get arrested or fired or anything like that. You're trying to stand your ground, and there are ways in which to do that. For example, if you're doing a work meeting and somebody brings up an idea of yours and tries to pass it off as their own, just politely kind of slide in and say, well, yes, as I pitched before this meeting. So basically you're kind of taking back your idea. You understand? You're taking back you're taking it back from whoever is trying to jump in and steal it from you. You won't face that type of energy very often, so don't worry about it. It's more like a mansplaining energy, only this is not specific to gender. It just feels like I said before, it just feels like people who are less experienced than you, less knowledgeable than you, don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're condescending to you about what to do with your mental health, about what to do with your vocation, about what to do with your passions, about what to do with your with your psyche, about what to do with anything to do with your life. You know what you're doing and they don't, and yet they're condescending to you. Put them in check. Put them all the way in check. Do it in a nice way, but put them in check, Cancer. Okay? Now, For the notes for you, I've got opposition, too much politics, mediating, staying true to beliefs, assertiveness, abandoning ship, wall of opinions, standing out, winning an argument, online lectures, progress in politics, leadership and management, interest group, war, hostile situation, fights. Now, I do see conflict happening around you, but I don't necessarily see it happening to you. And this is either because anybody who tries to play those games with you, they hit a brick wall, or people might be fighting amongst each other about you, seeing as you won't, seeing as you're unlikely to relax your boundaries for somebody who doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. So fights might happen around you, but they may not happen to you. And especially if you lay your boundaries down and say, no, I know what I'm doing. Back off. Okay? So that was for Cancer. That was for Purnabasu, Pushya, and Ashlesha. Bye-bye. Oh. Hi, Leo. This is for Maga, Purva Palguni, and Uttara Palguni. How are you guys doing? So, Leo, I get such a strong vibe for you that it just feels like the initiation. I'm sorry to say this for, any Christian viewers or TI viewers or anything, but it feels like you've been initiated into something important. It feels like you've gone from being like just a normal, ordinary person to being all the way in your power, and it's like you're just dipping your toe in the water at the moment. I this is Page of Swords and Seven of Cups, but there is so much power going on, and it feels like this has been a long time coming. It's like a mini sun that's growing all the time. That's how you feel. I see you clad in black and joining a fraternity or a sorority of people that are, that are higher up than you, but they're not as powerful as you are. You're about to change the game. And like I said, this is February. You're like, what you're seeing and what you're experiencing right now is just a small crumb in comparison to what's to come. You're about to change the game big time. And I don't know what it's in, because Page of Swords, we've got swords and we've got cups. That could mean anything, but it just feels like you have, oh my God, it just feels crazy. It just feels absolutely mental, and it feels like a lot of what you've imagined yourself to be or what you wanted to be, that has come to pass. It feels like the private part of yourself has come out, and now people recognize and realize that you're a force to be reckoned with. This is really, really big shit. It feels big. And you're not a leader yet. That's not what this is. What this is that you've come into yourself. You've come into the person that you always were, underneath the circumstances that were preventing you. There were circumstances that were preventing you that are not preventing you now. And you're making the first steps towards realizing that power. There is so much power surging out of you, Leo. And that is not even the beginning of it yet. There's so much more to come. Let me have a look and see what I can get for you in terms of these cards here. You see what I'm getting? I'm getting this here. I think this is supposed to represent partnership, but it feels like it represents you more than anything, or it just feels like your full potential is being realized. And wisdom. You see cats eat fish, right? There's wisdom there. And then with the snake, that's Ashlesha. Ashlesha are to do with passed on knowledge and wisdom, genetic issues, karma, ancestral. You have ancestral powers on your side, especially those with Maga placements. Now, it's kind of standard for people with Maga placements to feel that, but this is especially potent during this time. And I've got to tell you, Leo, once again, this hasn't even started yet. This month is nothing compared to what's coming. So let me read for Leo's. Jesus, I wasn't expecting that today. So we've got strong personality. That's, put a pin in that. Doing too little to change. We've got rite of initiation, which is basically leveling up, calm before the storm. Poor time management, idealist or idealistic belief system. Game development, speaking the truth even if it's hurtful. Confusion and memory loss. Some of you Leos may have experienced floods of memories coming into your mind. Don't worry about that too much. They're not being removed from you. What's happening is that all the benefit of your knowledge are being concentrated into one particular thing. So all the experiences that you've had in your life, they're being concentrated increasingly into one thing. And that's why you're becoming so powerful. It's because all the past life lessons and the lessons of your past, they're all coming together, fusing together to form a more cohesive whole. And it feels like all the pain has been taken out and you're just left with the purpose. Holy fucking shit, Leo. Like, what is happening? Why am I reading this? It says poor time management. I do feel like there are still changes that need to be made, and yes, you need to make them, because as powerful as you are, it doesn't mean that you're above reproach. If there are things that you're not doing for your mind and not doing for your body, you need to address them immediately. I don't see those decisions of yours leading to anything serious, to be honest with you. I don't see, if you don't make any changes now, I don't see that leading to anything serious. I really don't. That's the fortunate thing about this. But it's better that you make changes now in the preparatory stages. And February is a perfect time for DIP, doing it poorly. So whatever changes you have to make now, make them poorly. Just make a rubbish attempt at doing it. So like, if you start from now and you make a rubbish attempt at doing it and you keep making rubbish attempts at doing it, what's going to happen is that it's going to lead to further excellence when you start to take it more seriously. DIP, do it poorly. So that was for Leo. That was for Maga, Pavapalguni, and Uttarapalguni. Bye-bye. Hi Capricorn, this is for Uttara Ashara, Shravana, and Dhanishta. How's it going, Cappy? So we've got the Four of Wands and the Six of Cups. Now, this is actually a lovely time for you. You went through so much shit during January with hating ass people, and now it's your time to relax. Now it's your time to kick back and enjoy the spoils of what you've done. Now, this card is a little bit on the pessimistic side. Its meaning is that chaos is about to come down. But truth be told, whatever chaos is going on in the outside world, it doesn't affect you. And the reason for this is because you've been very well prepared up until this moment. It seems to be an earth sign thing because I've got the same thing for Virgo. This emphasis on preparation, this emphasis on getting ready. Okay? So you've been so well prepared up until this point that even when chaos is ensuing all around you, you're maintaining your cool. And not only are you maintaining your cool, you're surrounded by positive people. And with the Six of Cups here, I feel like one of those people includes Cancer. Now, I begged Cancer to help the Capricorns. So whoever's cross-watching right now, if you're a Cancer and you're cross-watching with this, Okay. You are likely one of the positive people that Capricorn finds themselves hanging around, because even though you've got your own problems, you're dealing with your own problems with strength and precision and intelligence. So by the time you come around to Capricorn, you add that positivity to Capricorn's life and they add the positivity to yours. So Cappy, coming back to you, you are resting. You're in a resting period because you know that next month onwards is about to get very busy and you know that you have a lot of obligations ahead of you. So right now you are just chilling out. Okay. So let's read for Cappy and see what's going on for you. So for the notes, I've got musical, band, architecture, following your heart, chaos, nostalgia, living in the past, graphic design, exhibition, media event, finding your niche, acing a test, working from home. So yeah, you've got a lot of responsibilities and you're managing as much as you can from your house. But at the same time, you're making as much time to rest as you can and to rest in the spoils of your hard work, which is in this case extremely healthy. It's a very healthy thing to do at this moment in time. And yeah, I really can't see anything else for you for the month of February as a whole, Capricorn, because it just feels like you're managing your life the way you're supposed to manage it. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like there's anything really that needs to be said. But let me just into it further. Yeah, you're getting ready for big events coming up. If you're a Capricorn, you're getting ready for big events coming up. You're getting ready, for the next few months to be incredibly busy, like I said, because you've either got big creative projects coming up or big business projects or a big work event, something to do with that. And it's for this reason why in the meantime you're taking it easy, as you should, Cappy, as you should. Yeah, you stay in with some Netflix and some ice cream and shit. Well, maybe not ice cream, it's cold enough as it is, but stay in with some ice cream or Netflix or some cake or some, just like take a couple of weekends and just be lazy as fuck. Like, I'm not gonna judge you. Fuck it. Enjoy it. This is your moment to relax and take care of yourself. So that was for Cappies. That was for Uttara, Ashara, Shravana, and Dhanishta. Bye-bye. Hi Aquarius, this is for Dhanishta, Shatabisha, and Purvabhadrapada. How are you, Aquarius? Now for you guys, it feels like you have some tragedy that either you or a loved one is navigating, and you're there for them emotionally, but I feel like you need to be more there for them physically. They need you right now. Aquarius, whoever it is, they need your love. For those of you in a relationship, you're in a relationship with somebody who is very fucking strong. Now, you're a strong sign and you're a strong person, Aquarius, but this person, in your mind is in your mind, this person is softer than what the reality actually is, because while they might be open with their emotions, they're actually very, very tough. And they're very tough. They're a lot tougher than they seem, but they still need you, because there's a sense of tragedy around them, or it might be you that has to navigate the tragedy, and it might be you that needs support. In either case, be there for each other physically, not just emotionally. Show up. And your efforts when it comes to relationships, it will not go unnoticed when you show up for the people that you love. Now, forgive the noise pollution in the background. But yeah, you need to show up for the people that you love, Aquarius. It's not enough just to feel. You have to be there, because ironically, that will lessen the pain that you're feeling for the other person. So, what can we get for Aquarius in terms of the notes? We've got dangerous date, breakups, breakdowns, and/or separation, beautiful children, keeping the wheel on, psychic abilities, working out differences, working on love, coming to terms with sadness, healing, surgeon, doctor, whoever has tragedy visited on them, like I said before. There is an emotional connection. There's a feeling of emotionally showing up, but physically showing up for one another is what's going to help it. Is what's going to help, truly. And when it comes to the breakups, breakdowns, and separations, I feel like that's not actually happening in your relationships. It's happening to the relationships of the people around you. It's not actually happening to you. Your relationships, to be quite honest with you, are stronger than ever. There's no chance of your relationships going anywhere, even though you could be there more for them. You could be there more, but your relationships are not suffering at all. It just feels like some of your friends might have their relationship suffering, or some people in your life might have their relationship suffering, and they're sitting there like, talking to you about their problems, and you feel completely unable to relate because you actually like the person that you're with. Even if you don't necessarily agree with each other sometimes, you actually like the person that you're with. You enjoy their company. They may as well be a best friend to you, and you're listening to people date and marry people that they don't even like. You're like, what? And you're thinking, what am I supposed to say to this? So it's it's up to you. I mean, if you want to be emotionally supportive, I feel like when it comes to those people, you're more inclined to show up because you're more detached from them, right? You don't have to bear too much of their pain. But with them, like, love them at a distance, advise them at a distance, because there isn't a whole lot you can do anyway. If they've made their minds up to date people they don't like, or to marry people they don't like, that's really up to them. It's not a lot you can do, but there is something that you can do for people that already appreciate you. So show up, Aquarius, baby. Show up. I love you much. That was for Aquarius. That was for Danishta, Shatabisha, and Pavapadrapada. Bye-bye. Hi, Taurus. This is for Kritika, Rohini, and Mrigashira. This is set up to be quite an ugly-ass reading, so I'm just going to get on with it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Taurus. I just want one good reading for you. That's all I want. Like, just one good reading for you. I swear. Okay, I'm so tired of this. I'm so tired. Oh, I'm so tired. Okay. So the devil is here and the Five of Swords is here. Now, it doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. I might be being dramatic as fuck right now, but it doesn't always have to be doom and gloom. It doesn't have to be that. Like, there are some of you that are happy, and it feels like for those of you that are happy, there are business interests that you're engaged in, but it might come with a high price ethically. And then there are those who are unhappy with the Five of Swords. You've resolved a lot in your own mind in January when it comes to who's made mistakes and how they can rectify it. You've made amends in your own mind, and now in February it's the time to make amends in real life, and that goes down as well as you think it does, i.e. not very. It doesn't go well. I'm sorry to say this, but your attempt to make things right, it doesn't necessarily go to plan. That's for those of you who actually try to do right. For those of you who don't, or for those of you who pretend nothing had happened, there is a huge wake-up call and a huge awakening of what's happening, and it does not look good. I'm so sorry to say it doesn't look good at all. It's ugly, and I wish it wasn't, but sometimes ugly moments do happen, and there's not a lot you can do about it. And if I was to say anything to you, Taurus, it would be to just keep quiet for this month. When it comes to anything really serious or recriminatory, if that's a word. I don't even know if that's a word or not. I'm just using it. Anything involving recriminations, just keep quiet. Just let other people talk. And I know it's not an easy thing to do, especially if you're the one taking most of the tongue lashing and you're the one taking, well, you did this and you did this. Just be quiet. That's all you can do. And I'm not saying that because you don't have the right to speak. You absolutely have the right to speak like anybody else does. It's just that if you speak, you say anything, you're going to make it worse. Okay? The devil is in between the devil and the tower here. There are going to be fights that break out. The best thing you can do within that situation is just to not say anything. Just keep quiet. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry, Taurus. I wish it was a happier reading for you. But let's see what it says from the notes. It says, playing, gambling, stalking, danger addiction, approaching breaking point, everyone loses, defeat in love, confronted by an uncomfortable truth, destructive behavior, greed, and conflict zones. Please do not slide into hedonism as a response to the uncomfortable truths being spoken about you. And if you can help it, don't rest in anger either. There are truths that come out about you or what you've done that you need to accept and let go of. And it's horrible. I don't want to say all this. I hate saying this about any sign. I don't like it. But yeah, the best thing that you can do this month is keep quiet, accept the truth. I'm sorry for the noise pollution, Taurus. You see, Taurus, this is Devil and Five of Swords energy going on right now, because I've got noise pollution going on upstairs because of my neighbors. So this is exactly the kind of energy that we're dealing with. Like, they're right on time with that shit. Ugh. I'm so sorry, Taurus. I really am. I really wish this was a happier reading. But accept the truth of the situation. Rest with the feelings that come with them. It's only then that you can truly heal, I wish things were better. And fortunately, after this month, it's very, very likely that they will. Hang tight. Okay? So that was for Taurus. That was for... Oof, that was a lot, baby. That's for Kritika, Rohini, and Mrigashira. I love you so much, Taurus. So much. I'm so sorry. But you got this. You're going to be okay. I love you. Bye-bye. Hi Libra, this reading is for Chitra, Swati, and Vishaka. How are you guys doing? So the second I put these cards down, I immediately got that you're taking care of business right here and now. While everyone else is resting or contemplating or, taking it easy or preparing, you're actually working. Now, a lot of people get you twisted and think that, you're just lazy most of the time, but you're not. It's just that you have a keen understanding of how the world works. My aunt, who's a Swati son, she said that when there's a recession, you spend, and when there's an economy, you save. Now, most people do this the other way around, but this is exactly the type of mindset that Libras have. So whilst everyone else is resting on their laurels and taking it easy, you're actually working full tilt on your career, on your business, and even on your passion projects. There's a mixture of your experience and your passions coming into play here, and your talents. So you are all drive and all ambition at the moment. Now I'm going to read the notes for you guys. We've got meditation master, doctor, healthcare worker, entrepreneurial idea, old knowledge with fresh eyes, much success, business rivalry, talented surgeon, master detective, professional career, and strong personality. So it's like I said before, you're bringing your force to bear on this month. So what that will result in is that you will end up in a position where everybody else is working their asses off in the later months, and you're taking it easy because you've done all the hard work in February that you need to do. You've laid the foundation, you've done the groundwork, and now you're going to watch everyone else do your work for you come the following months. And I know it sounds unfair, but again, when you understand how the world works, you're able to play it accordingly. Do you understand what I'm saying? And the entrepreneurial idea I really want to highlight, because it's that idea that you hit the ground running with. You decide to strike while the iron is hot, and you are wasting absolutely no time in getting it done. And you've also, when it comes to business rivalry, you are putting yourselves ahead of your peers already, because you've already made up your mind that this needs to happen now. So you're very decisive, you're very driven, you're very ambitious. When it comes to love, forget it. If people are looking for you to be the next phone call or to be the person that people can rely on, like, no, you are not in that space. You're in the space where I need to work, I need to make things happen. I've got shit to do. And this is not necessarily out of trying to provide for anybody. You're just like, no, I've got shit to do. It's as simple as that. It's ambition for its own sake. And ordinarily I'd be like, you know what, that's not really a good idea. But in this case, sorry Libra, that's my stomach. In this case, it works out very, very well for you. So, Librans, kick some ass. That was for Librans. That was for, Chitra, Svati, and Vishaka. I love you so much, Libras. Keep kicking everyone's butt. Mwah. Bye-bye.